She used to fight with you about the little things, the messages you didn't send, the way you spoke to her, the nights you came home quiet and disconnected. She used to raise her voice because she still cared. She still believed you were worth the effort, even when things felt messy, even when she was tired, frustrated, or disappointed. But now, she doesn't argue anymore. She doesn't ask for explanations. She doesn't ask for more. And you think things are getting better. You think the silence means peace. But it's not peace, man. It's resignation. When a woman stops arguing, it's not because she's over the fight. It's because she's over you. You confuse her passion for drama, her questions for control, her emotions for chaos. But what you didn't see was that her words were the last threads of her staying power. And when the words stopped, so did the connection. Now she moves through your world like a ghost, no longer triggered, no longer invested, no longer trying to change what she's already accepted. That you're not the man she's willing to fight for anymore. It's not that she doesn't see the problems. She just doesn't believe solving them with you is worth it. She doesn't flinch anymore when you disappoint her. She doesn't raise her voice when you let her down. She just breathes and stays quiet. And that silence? It's not calm. It's not content. It's the cold stillness that comes before the storm she won't warn you about. Because she's already made the decision in her heart to leave without the drama. You used to hear, "Why don't you care? Why don't you understand how I feel?" That was her trying to pull you closer, trying to wake you up. Because arguing wasn't about breaking you down. It was about saving what she thought was still alive between you. But now, there's no fight left. Not because the issues are gone, but because her hope is. She's emotionally exhausted. You drained her, not in a single day, but slowly. Every time you ignored her voice, every time you laughed off her feelings, every time you made her feel like too much or not enough. So now she nods. She agrees. She walks away mid-conversation and doesn't come back. And you don't even realize that the real danger isn't the arguments. It's this, the silence that follows them. Because when a woman truly gives up, she doesn't burn the house down. She just stops watering the garden. She lets it die. And by the time you notice the weeds, she's already packed her heart and left. She used to challenge you because she believed in you. She saw potential. She thought maybe, just maybe, you'd step up. That's why she got emotional. Why she pushed. Why she repeated the same concerns over and over. Not because she enjoyed conflict, but because the silence scared her more. Back then, she still wanted the relationship to work. Now, she just wants peace. And that peace doesn't include trying to fix what you kept breaking. You thought her fire was the problem, but it was proof she still cared. Now there's no fire, no heat, just cold responses and empty eyes. You ask her if she's okay. She says, "I'm fine." But her tone doesn't match the words. She says it with a finality that doesn't invite more questions. And when you leave the room, she doesn't follow. She lets you walk away because she's already been rehearsing your absence in her mind. You notice her talking less, laughing less, touching you less. And when you try to touch her, she doesn't pull away angrily. She just freezes, still, emotionless. Because when a woman has to argue for her place in your life for too long, eventually, she stops trying. And that silence? That's when you should worry. Because the loud woman is still fighting for the relationship. The quiet one is already done. You keep thinking the lack of drama means progress. That maybe she's finally calming down, finally matured. But no, what you're witnessing is detachment. She's no longer emotionally invested enough to argue. She's conserving her energy, not for you, but for the next chapter of her life. One that doesn't involve constantly explaining how she feels, only to be dismissed. And here's the catch. You won't notice what you had until she's gone. Because when she was loud, you felt annoyed. When she's quiet, you'll feel empty. She doesn't ask anymore where you've been. She doesn't care who liked your photos. She doesn't get jealous. Because she's not competing for your love anymore. You'll catch her staring out the window. Not daydreaming. Planning. Visualizing the moment she walks away. Without needing to slam the door behind her. You'll start feeling like a stranger in your own home. Her presence feels distant, even when she's sitting right beside you. The woman who used to text you paragraphs now replies with one word. The woman who used to light up when you entered the room now doesn't even glance up. And when you ask her what's wrong, she says, nothing. Because what's wrong, it can't be fixed with small talk anymore. It's buried too deep. She stopped arguing because arguing required hope. And now, she's fresh out of it. You thought her silence meant forgiveness. That maybe she was over it. That time healed the wounds. But no, she didn't heal. She hardened. The version of her you see now, that cold, Quiet woman. She's not angry. She's numb. She used to fight for your love. Now, she's guarding her peace. Because somewhere along the way, you taught her that speaking up wouldn't change anything. So she stopped. Not because she's weak, but because she's finally realized you won't meet her halfway. And here's what you need to understand. When a woman goes silent, she's not hoping you'll chase her. She's watching. She's measuring. She's collecting moments to justify the goodbye that's already forming in her heart. You come home and think everything's fine. She cooks. She smiles when needed. She plays the role. But that's all it is now. A role. She's emotionally clocked out. She's doing the bare minimum until the day she walks out that door. With no warning, no fight, no second thoughts. Because women don't always leave when they pack their bags. Sometimes they leave months before. Quietly, emotionally. And by the time you feel it, it's already too late. You don't see the tears anymore. You don't hear the frustration. But don't mistake silence for serenity. She's not at peace with you. She's just at peace with letting you go. There was a time when her silence meant she was thinking. Now, it means she's already done thinking. She's not planning the next conversation. She's planning her exit. Emotionally, mentally, sometimes even physically. You walk in expecting the same woman, but you don't realize she's changed in ways you can't see. Her body may still be near you, but her heart is light years away. Not because of one fight, but because of 100 little wounds you never took seriously. You thought silence was peace, but silence for her is emotional death. She no longer needs to prove her point. She no longer needs to feel heard. She's realized that arguing with someone who refuses to listen isn't strength, it's self-betrayal. So she stopped. Stopped explaining. Stopped defending. Stopped hoping. And the quiet? It's not softness. It's protection. She's protecting the last pieces of herself. The ones you used to have access to. Now they're locked away, reserved for someone who might actually see her. You keep thinking if she's not yelling, it means things are okay. But what you fail to see is this. She's saving her voice for a life that no longer includes you. And by the time you finally want to listen, she'll have nothing left to say. She told you in 1,000 ways, but you didn't hear her until she went quiet. Every argument, every emotional outburst, every moment she broke down in front of you, that was love trying to hold on. But now? Now she's not trying. She's preserving. Because something inside her has shifted. She's no longer afraid of losing you. She's more afraid of losing herself if she stays. You think she's finally easy to deal with. That you've finally reached peace. But the truth is, she just doesn't see the point in fighting anymore. She's made peace with the idea that maybe you were never going to understand her, never going to match her energy, never going to show up the way she needed. So she stopped expecting. She stopped needing. And when a woman doesn't need you anymore, that's when she becomes the version of herself you don't recognize. Independent, emotionally withdrawn, unreachable. The woman who once begged for your time now gives you space, not because she's kind, but because she's preparing to disappear without disruption. She's not planning a dramatic exit. No big fight. No breakdown. Just a slow fade out. Until one day, you wake up and realize you're alone in the relationship. And the worst part? She left a long time ago. She just didn't tell you. You thought she'd always come back. That no matter how distant she got, she'd eventually break, say something, start a fight. But this time is different. She's not giving you the same emotional responses. No more raised voice. No more, why don't you care? She's not fighting for the relationship anymore. She's fighting against herself, just to stay a little longer. But every day she stays quiet. She grows colder. And that cold doesn't come from bitterness. It comes from clarity. She's finally seeing things for what they are. She sees that the man she tried to reach was never really listening. And now, she's done trying. You'll start to miss the fire. You'll miss the arguments, the passionate debates, even the tears. Because what's left now is silence. And silence has no heart left in it. She's still in the room, but emotionally, she's already packed up. And when she finally walks away, you won't get closure. You won't get explanations. You'll get a door that closes without sound. A bed that's cold without a word. And a woman who looks you in the eye one last time, without feeling a thing. Because the version of her that loved you, that version died in the silence you kept mistaking for peace. You thought arguments were the problem, but now you see, they were proof she still cared. Because women don't argue when they're done. They go quiet. They detach. They become strangers in front of the man they once loved endlessly. And when that silence arrives, it's not the calm before the storm. It is the storm. It's the emotional cutoff you never saw coming. Because you are too focused on your own comfort to notice her fading voice. So when she stops questioning you, stops fighting for more time, more attention, more effort, it means she's already made her peace. Without you, by the time you realize she's gone, it won't be because she slammed the door. It'll be because you sat in silence too long and never once asked what it really meant. So, if you're sitting in that quiet now, thinking you've avoided another fight, you haven't. You've already lost the war. You just didn't hear the last goodbye when she stopped arguing.